Hey there, and welcome to the Girl Means Business podcast, the show that's all about helping photographers just like you build a thriving business without sacrificing your sanity. I'm your host, Kendra Swalls, a former teacher turned full-time photographer and marketing coach, here to fill your earbuds each week with practical tips, real-life stories, and a whole lot of encouragement. So if you're ready to dive in, let's get to it because this girl means business. Hey friend, and welcome back to the Girl Means Business podcast. In this week's episode, I want to focus on the topic of summer, and here's why. In the past in my business, I have gone all in throughout the school year when my kids are in school full time. Now, obviously, when my youngest was home with me, there was not really a school season other than the Mother's Day out that she might go to a couple days a week. But once my youngest started kindergarten, and I had set work hours, from 9 to 2 or 8 to 3 most days. Then summer breaks came along and it would really throw off kind of my rhythm of my business because I would have this sort of consistent workflow, work hours. I would get really into my business from, August, September through May. And then June, July would hit and I'd be scrambling to try to figure out how to balance the whole work from home and have my kids home and still try to do things that were fun. Go to the water park or go do fun activities, go see a movie in the middle of the day or take a family vacation and still do all of those things without letting my business slide. Because what I found, the pattern I saw happening, and I guarantee you that this has been happening in your business or it has at some point, or it will if you're a newer business. We have these roller coaster moments throughout our business where we're spending a lot of time focusing on marketing. We're focusing on the build up to something. So let's say, you're going to do mini sessions around in the fall before the holiday Christmas card rush. And so for the month or two beforehand, you are pushing hard for these mini sessions. You're posting on social media, you're sending emails, you're, telling everybody about these, you're posting in Facebook groups, all the things. You book out your mini sessions and then you spend all your time focused on the sessions, the editing, the keeping up with everything, the sending galleries. And then you hit this slump where you're okay, I was going on this uphill climb. I got to the top. I did the thing I was marketing for. And then I just kind of dropped off because you stopped being consistent with your marketing. And because things are good, you're working on something else. And then the slump hits and you're okay, hold on. Now I got to start all over again. I got to do the climb again and I'm going to go back down. It's that up and down. And summer typically tends to be a down. You've spent all spring ramping up to whatever sessions, whether it's graduation sessions, spring family sessions, weddings, newborns that are coming along. But you've spent all this time from January through now to build up for these sessions. And now you might be noticing you're starting to get on that downhill slide. You're starting to get to the point where you're okay, everything's starting to slow down. School's getting out. The kids are all home. The graduation stuff's done with the seniors. Weddings are starting to slow down. Now, I live in Texas where summer weddings are still a little bit busy, but it's so hot here that a lot of times spring and fall are your biggest wedding season. So weddings might be slowing down a little bit. Family sessions are probably pretty non-existent in the summer because of other things, travel and crazy schedules and the heat and all the things. And so you're starting to realize that I'm going to have this slump in my business. What do I do? So what I want this episode to kind of revolve around is I want to give you some tips of things that you can do to make the most of your summer break time, whether you have kids home or not. And then also some tips on what you can do in order to avoid it being this full-on slump or dip or low point in the roller coaster ride, if you will, for your business. So let's start with if you notice that you're kind of on the decline. You are now focusing on the clients you already have, you're editing sessions, you're getting galleries out, you're doing all the end of school things with your own kids, your own family. May, in my opinion, is like December. It's just chaos. And so if you're in kind of survival mode and you haven't really been forward thinking in your business, thinking like, okay, what do I need to be planning for going forward? I want you to take a moment before school gets out and look at what it is that your goals are in the next 4 to 6 months. You don't have to go all the way to the end of the year unless you really want to, but I want you to really look at, okay, what are my goals? Like, what do I want to, how many sessions do I want to book? What do I want to accomplish? What do I need in order to, like, income wise, to make it through the rest of the year to hit my goals? And then I want you to start thinking about, okay, what kind of groundwork can I lay over the summer that is going to help me achieve those goals? Because even if you don't have school age kids that are home for the summer, or you have younger kids that you're like, this is just another week for me because my kids are always home, there's a different feeling around summer, not just as a business owner, but with our clientele. Like you're going to hit a slower point because people are focused on other things in their lives. They're spending monies on vacations and summer camps and travel and activities and all the things, as opposed to necessarily sessions. And so this is a great time to start looking at, okay, what can I do now to make marketing for my fall sessions, my holiday sessions, my back to school sessions? What can I do now to start laying the groundwork for that? So that could look like maybe you create a schedule of content. Okay, I'm going to post 3 times a week on social media. Let's go ahead and map out what that looks like. I am going to send out an email every single week to my email list, kind of getting them prepared to like hear from me more often. I'm going to create blog content. Like I'm going to start putting out content that's going to keep me top of mind, because when it comes time for back to school, or when school starts and people start thinking about, okay, it's time to start looking forward to booking that family session for our holiday card this year, you want to be top of mind. You don't want to be scrambling in September and October trying to get on everybody's radar. You want to be doing that now, so that maybe they'll go ahead if you have the really, organized mom who's like, you know what? I've been seeing your posts. I've been reading your emails. I want to go ahead and get on your calendar because I know things are going to get crazy once school starts. Let's just go ahead and book that session now, so it's one less thing I have to deal with. You may have some of that, but if you're not staying top of mind, if you're not putting content out there, if you're sitting back thinking, well, everybody's busy, they're not really looking at this right now, or they're not thinking about this right now, and you're not putting the things out there, you could be missing out on something. So don't just assume that because you're taking a slower season in your business that you can't be booking things for the future, or you can't be laying that groundwork, because that content you're putting out there can absolutely help with that. Now, one thing I will say here that you've probably heard me mention before on the podcast if you listened is this is a perfect time to start batch creating your content. And what that means is, instead of saying, okay, every week I'm going to come up with 3 things to post, every week I'm going to come up with an email, every week I'm going to come up with a blog post, I want you to dedicate a day or 2, or even like 1 day a week, to kind of go through and get all of this done prior to your summer vacation. I am doing all this right now in my own business. I'm recording podcast episodes. I'm batching my emails and my blog content, so that over the summer, when we go out of town for a family vacation, or when I want to take a day to take my kids to the water park, or my daughter has a dance competition, or my other one has a basketball tournament somewhere, I'm not in the middle of those things spending time with my family and thinking I need to be creating an email, or, oh, I need to be putting out this episode, or, oh, I need to be posting something on social media. It's all running in the background for me. And I've just recently done this with my launch of the greenhouse. So when I was preparing to launch my coaching membership, I went ahead and about a month before it launched, I pre-planned everything out, because I knew that leading up to that launch, I was going to have other things I wanted to be focusing on than, what email is being sent this week, or what, social media post am I going to make. So I spent a good probably 2 days creating all of that content and scheduling it all out. And it ran for me. I would literally open my Instagram and kind of be like, oh yeah, that post went out today. I could go engage with it, or I could share it, or do whatever. Or I would say, oh yeah, that email went out today. And I would get people responding, or getting people signing up for the wait list. but it was all done at one time. And I'm going to do the same thing over the summer because I want to be able to mentally separate myself and spend time with my kids and spend time with my family and friends and not have to think about, oh, I forgot to send an email this week, or, oh, I forgot to post this week. And then it becomes the spiral of like, oh, well, okay, I guess I'll do it next week. Well, then next week you get busy and you forget too. And next thing you know, the summer's gone by and you haven't posted anything on social media. You haven't sent out an email. You haven't created any new blog post. You haven't done anything to market your business. And then you're frustrated because fall rolls around and you're not getting the bookings that you want. So by having that time and taking that time to batch your content in advance, you are going to be saving yourself time, but you're also going to be saving yourself a lot of just your sanity and that peace of mind of knowing that like you already have this content going out. It will give you the ability to just be present in the moment with whatever it is you're doing, whether it's your family, other things in your business. And that's just in general. Summer is a great time to do that, but also like just in general, batching things in advance makes your life so much easier. Okay, so part 2, I want to talk about the other things you can be doing in your business when you are in a slow season, such as summer. So maybe your kids are older, maybe your kids are out of the house, maybe you don't have kids yet, but summer kind of slows down in bookings and you're thinking, okay, what else can I be doing in my business in order to make the most of this time so I'm not just lounging around wallowing in the fact that I don't have as many clients this time of year.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
If you've been listening to the Girl Means Business podcast for any amount of time, then you know my love of email marketing runs deep. Not only is it a great way to generate new leads, but it's one of the most effective methods for nurturing warm leads and turning them into sales. Now, over the years, I've tested several email platforms, and my favorite by far is Flowdesk. Not only do they make email marketing simple and easy, even for the technically challenged, but they have everything you need to create stunning emails, capture leads, make sales, and automate the entire process, giving you time back in your busy day. And the cherry on top is you're only charged one flat fee no matter how many subscribers you have. So while other platforms will increase your price when you go over your pricing tier limit, Flowdesk has no price increases or hidden fees. If you're ready to give Flowdesk a try, click the link below in the show notes to save 50% off your first year. Let Flowdesk help you design emails people will love. Click the link below and check it out. I have a feeling you're going to love it just as much as I do. You can use this time to work on things in your business that you don't have time to do when you're in your busy season. When you're at the peak of that roller coaster and you are just bombarded with client sessions and editing and client communications and all the things, you don't have time to work on things like your client workflow. You don't have time to set up a new client management system that maybe you haven't taken the chance to do, or set up a welcome series for your emails, or create a lead magnet to get new people, or update your website. All that back end stuff that you always kind of say like, oh, I'll do that when I have more time. Now is the time to do that. So I want you to think about what are the systems behind the scenes in your business that will make your life easier when you're in a busy season. So an example is your client management system. So I use HoneyBook, love HoneyBook. I have a link for it down in the show notes if you are interested in trying out HoneyBook. It's an incredible, incredible client management system that does everything you could possibly need it to do and more. But there's a lot of parts to that require kind of a setup before it really runs efficiently in your business. An example of this is whenever I have clients that will inquire with me. So let's say I have a client that is a personal brand session client. When they send me a message through HoneyBook, through my contact form, which goes into HoneyBook, and they say, I'm interested in a brand session, let me know your availability, blah, blah, blah. I then have an entire kind of workflow of things that I activate. Now, what that does is it will send them an email back that it's pre-written, but I can go in and customize it as needed. So if they ask a specific question, I can go in and customize it. But the bones of it are all there. It's pretty much written and ready to go. And that sends it to them saying, thank you so much for reaching out. I would love to set up a brand session with you. Here's my brand session information and pricing guide. When you're ready, let me know which package you're interested in, and then we can discuss available dates. And then I have a whole workflow set up. So once they book that session with me, through the time that their session is done and over, I have touch points scheduled out along the way. So once they book with me, I send them out a smart file that includes their contract, their questionnaire, their invoice. And then I have follow-up emails that go out before their session, reminding them of their session, location, date, time, all the things. And that's all it's auto-populated based on the information I put into their project. So the beauty of this is I've set it up one time, and then the session emails go out and it fills in the location, the date, the time, all the things based on the information I put into their project. And so I'm not having to manually go in and send that. And then post their session, after their session's done, I have it set up to then trigger more emails that send a thank you for booking with me. I hope you enjoyed your session. Here's where you can go leave me a Google review. Or another email a couple days later. Hey, if you loved your session, I'm working on your photos. I cannot wait to share them with you. In the meantime, here's a referral card that you can then send out to your family and friends. Here's how my referral program works. And then I also have it automated to send me task reminders so that it lets me know hey, I need to have the gallery edited by this date, delivered by this date, all the things. And so all of that took time to set up. But now that it is set up, it makes my life so much easier, and it creates a really great client experience. That is one thing that my photography clients have always stated or commented on in their reviews, is that the experience from start to finish was very hands-on, that they received all the information they needed ahead of time, that I made them feel really comfortable about everything they needed to know about their session. And so I wanted to make sure that I was kind of automating as much of that as possible so that I wasn't letting somebody slip through the cracks, that everybody got that same kind of high touch experience without me having to actually be super active every single day inside of my account. And so it took some time to set that up, but it was worth it. So right now, when we are getting into those summer months, and you're like, okay, I've got, a break in my calendar. I've got a couple of weeks where I don't really have any sessions on the calendar or very few sessions, but I want to be doing something in my business. Those are the kinds of things you can set up in your business that will run in the background. And while these aren't the flashy, shiny, forward-facing things, these are the foundation pieces of your business that will help you to avoid burnout, that will give you some peace of mind knowing that things are running without you having to be on it all the time. And it's going to help you feel like you're able to do this longer without, like I said, burning out, without feeling overwhelmed. But it takes that time of going, okay, I'm going to dedicate this amount of time to set this up. So whether that is, like I said, your client management system, whether that is a lead magnet or emails, workflows, or just creating email templates or setting up smart files so that they're ready to go for each type of session that you offer. Things that you're sitting down going, I'm recreating the same thing over and over and over again every time a client comes to me. Create a way to automate that, or create a way to create a template version of it so that you're not having to recreate it every single time. And keep in mind, these are things that you are creating templates for. They can be personalized. They do not have to feel like they are this robotic thing that your clients are not going to feel like it's a personal thing. They can still feel personal, even if it is part of a automated workflow. Okay, third thing you can do. This is a great time to start building networking relationships. That means that if you are someone who is like, I struggle with my marketing, I feel like nobody sees my content on social media, I have an email list that has 12 people on it, and most of them are my family and friends. How can I get in front of more people? One of the biggest things I love helping photographers do within my coaching program is to learn how to network and build connections with other businesses in your community so that you can get in front of their audience. So instead of trying to force yourself in front of an audience that you're having to go out and find on your own, if you can build a relationship with another company or another brand and kind of piggyback off the audience base they've already built, then it's just that much easier. So summer is a great time. Let's say, for example, when I do boudoir sessions, I partner a lot of times with, salons, tanning salons, hair and makeup women, hair salons, nail salons, like anything, spas, like people who do estheticians, who do facials, things like that, because I can then refer my clients to them and they can refer their clients to me. And so building those relationships, it's not as easy as I just Google, a local spa near me and I reach out and say, hey, I want to partner with you. I have to go and kind of build trust with them, just like I would with my potential clients. And so that could look like saying like, hey, I'm a local business. I'm interested in discussing ways we can work together to partner or to, cross promote each other. I would love to maybe meet you for coffee sometime or come by and have a chat with you sometime, and start drafting some ideas of, okay, what are some places or businesses I want to work with? What are some ways we can help each other out? So it's a two-way street. It's not just me saying, tell your audience about me. You got to also offer something back and get comfortable making these connections. And so the summertime, when you have a slow point in your business, is a great time to start doing that, to start reaching out, because they're probably kind of slow in their business too, especially if they also have the same clientele as you. And that clientele are families or moms who are busy, who are going on vacations and they're spending money elsewhere. So they may not be going and getting their nails done as often. They may not be going in, to the hair salon as often. And so you might find that they are having the same kind of lull in their business, and they might be like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's go chat. And you may have some people that, say no, and that's fine. But the way to start this is to go in and create a list. Say, okay, what types of businesses do I think that it would be a great fit to partner with? Make that list. So for example, like I said, hair salons, nail salons, local boutiques, coffee shops, whatever they might be. Just do general. Then go in and go, okay, if I'm going to start looking for hair salons, well, I want to find a hair salons that are in my area that serve my clients and serve kind of my ideal client. So go online, go on social media, go on Google, find a couple, list 5 or 6 of them, kind of in order of like, this would be my first choice, second choice, all that, that kind of thing. And then start reaching out to them. Follow them on social media, comment on a few of their social media posts, send them a DM telling them, you'd like to meet, and then wait a couple days. If they don't respond, send an email. Like, just start building that connection. Now is the time of year that's great for that. And you can use this slow time to start building something that could, again, be the foundation for really, really great partnerships going forward in the future. Okay, so I want to wrap this up. Like I said in the beginning, we've talked so far about ways or things you can do in this slow season, but I want to back things up a little bit and let's talk about what you can do going forward to avoid that roller coaster up and down. Now, you're going to have seasonal highs and lows in every business. That just happens. But if you can mitigate how high and how low you're going, the extremes, highs and lows, you can keep it to more of like a gentle rolling hill, then that is going to be a lot better for your business. So I want to back up to, let's say, January, February. So you're getting ready to go into your spring season. You're starting to go in that uphill slide of like, I'm going to push for these spring sessions. And then once I get busy, my marketing's going to drop off. And then eventually my business drops off. And now I'm having to do the whole thing again a couple months later, push, go back up the hill, get busy at the top, and then drop off again. So instead, and this will occur for like fall when you get really busy in the fall and then, winter's kind of slow. Instead, I want you to focus on having consistent marketing in your business. So for me, what has really helped is to have a calendar that maps out sort of generally, not super detailed in the beginning, but a very general look at what does my year look like? Like, what are my peak seasons? What are the times a year that I'm going to be the busiest? Like, I know that April and May are super busy. I know that September, October, or October, November are super busy. What can I do to spread that out a little bit? Or what can I do to make sure that I'm not hitting these super high highs? Well, one thing is you can batch your content so that you're not dropping off the face of the earth as soon as you get busy. Another thing is that you can create a marketing plan so that okay, in January, I'm going to focus on this. In February, I'm going to focus on this. In March, April, May, so on and so forth. And again, batch all that out so that you know when it comes time for April and you're super busy, you already have your content getting ready for booking summer sessions already going out into the world. So pre-planning for these and really taking time to evaluate what are the highs and lows consistently in my business? What are the patterns that I'm seeing, and how can I avoid those patterns going forward? Typically that comes from pre-planning and planning ahead, as opposed to, okay, it's the middle of May, what am I going to do for June? Okay, it's the second week of June, what am I going to do for July? If you can think ahead 3 to 4 months in advance, you're going to see way less of those highs and lows in your business. All right, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you again for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying these episodes. If you are, I would absolutely love for you to go over to the review section and leave me a review for the podcast. Let me know your thoughts, your ideas, questions, topic suggestions, anything you want to see going forward on the podcast, or what you're loving already. Not only does that help me to know what you're enjoying or what you want to see more of, but it also lets other people know that this is a show they might want to listen to as well. So thank you so much for that. I hope you have an amazing, amazing week, and I will see you back here next week, same time, same place.